Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Johanna and I'm here to talk about books. Today feels like a particularly nice spring day, so I thought I would take this opportunity to share a few books that I think are perfect to read this time of year. Especially this year, I've been really in the mood to read books that are lighthearted and inspiring and comforting in a way. Basically, books that feel like they will set you up for a fresh start or a new year. I think it's really dumb that the calendar year starts in the middle of winter. I feel like it should start when the whole world starts anew.
Look, I'll make some calls.
So that's the general theme of this video. So the first book that I want to share is actually right here on the shelf behind me. The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. I feel like this is probably an odd choice, but at the same time it's kind of perfect because spring cleaning, ever heard of it? I'm obsessed with the KonMari method. She describes that the way to have a clutter-free life is basically to only hold on to things that spark joy, and I 100% live by this method. And I'm obsessed with surrounding myself with things that spark joy in my life. Now, I know what you're thinking. I really don't feel like reading a book about organizing and cleaning. I have enough to do, and that is totally fair enough. But there is something so nice and cozy about this book. Marie Kondo is just such a heartwarming and cozy person. It's spring cleaning in book form. So if you're the type of person who takes on a new year by cleaning out all the dust and the clutter from your closets, then this might be the perfect book to accompany you on the way. I will say that it feels a bit dated and the categories are very odd. There are so many more categories that I could think to add. What are they? There's like clothes, books, papers, and everything else. That's literally, I think, what the categories are. So you might want to add some of your own, but overall, I think this is a very cozy book to read as we move from winter into spring and let in the fresh air and let out all the dust and the stuff that's been bogging you down all winter. Do you like my Lego flowers, by the way? I obviously had to have them front and center in this video, which is why I'm awkwardly standing off to the side. Another book that I feel is perfect to read during this time is The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. I mentioned this and a few of the others on this list actually in my 54 one-sentence reviews of all the books that I read last year. And I stand by what I said about this one. It was so lovely to listen to this story read aloud by John Green. It's basically a collection of stories looking at different elements of humanity and rating them out of 5. It makes you think about how lovely people really are. I think John Green wrote it during COVID, so if you're ready to kind of look back on that time, I feel like it's a good way to do that as well. It feels very much of the time because he talks about how he hasn't been able to leave his house and things like that. Overall, I feel like it's very sweet. Like, it makes you think about how cute humans are. As we all know, humans' impact on the earth is pretty horrendous.
Tell us how you really
Okay,
feel.
you know what? I'll tell you how I really feel.
If you want to have a hopeful outlook as we move into springtime, then I think the Anthropocene Reviewed is a really good way to do that. The essays are just really sweet, they're funny at times, they made me feel warm inside, you know? They made me feel like I was part of something that isn't all bad. The next book on my list is one that I actually recently finished as part of a book club that I have with my siblings, and it is The Humans by Matt Haig. This book made it onto this list because I feel like it was exactly the type of book I wanted to read at this time. It's about this alien who is sent to Earth with a mission and has all these observations about humans that are really funny. And at the same time, there are love story elements, there are family dynamic elements, and I feel like it is a good one to read in the springtime because for me at least, it felt very inspiring and made me feel a kinship to humans and made me kind of inspired. I should say that none of these books are necessarily set during spring. I know some of my previous videos have been very focused on ensuring that the seasonal vibes are there in the book, but this is more about what it makes you feel. Next, we have another one here on the shelf behind me, which is... Can we talk about how beautiful this book is? It is the number one reason that I bought it. Yes, so the next book on the list is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. There's something about it that feels like it is a good book to read at this time. It's about these two kids who basically grow up to develop games together, video games. It has romance and it has tragedy and it has
ballet, jazz, tap, hip hop, salsa. No salsa.
and coming of age, and it's just a very heartwarming story that I feel like fits very well with the mood that I'm after this spring. If you want kind of a bigger one to dive into as we move into the warmer months, then I recommend this one. I found it extremely cozy and it made me want to read more books about games. If you also think games are really cozy and want to read a story all about games, then you might like this one. All right, there seems to be a theme in that many of the spring books that I recommend just happen to be right here on my very pastel coated shelf. So, the next one that we have is Americanah by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. The reason I included this one on the list is because it also has that feeling of growth and renewal. It's about this young woman who leaves Nigeria at a young age, leaving behind everything she's known, including her high school sweetheart. He goes on to have his own life in the UK and they spend many years apart. And during that time, they're like growing up and having all these experiences, dealing with being kind of outsiders in these societies that they come into. It's such a beautiful story, very warm and funny, and you just kind of feel like you're living Ifemelu, the main character's life, alongside her. It's so beautifully written. There's something about how kind of lighthearted it is at times that makes me feel like it belongs in the springtime. I think another thing that makes it feel very fitting for this time is how much you can learn from it. I know that I have taken away so many things from it that I had never really thought of before. And again, this spring, I feel like I'm really in the mood to read books that are inspiring and eye-opening. And so if that's kind of what you're after as well, then give this one a try. I might be like really pushing some buttons by saying this, but another type of book that I really enjoy reading, especially this time of year, is one that focuses on mindfulness and presence and taking the time to appreciate the world around you, gratitude, kindness, etc. And a book that I feel perfectly captures that is The Things You Can See Only When You Slow Down by Haemin Sunim. It kind of just has these, I guess, teachings, but like also they're kind of like poems and they're interspersed with advice about how to approach different situations in life. And I feel like it's a really nice one to just pick up and flip through and maybe make notes of things that stand out to you. Not everything will resonate with everyone, but there might be something in here that touches your heart, I guess. This also has beautiful art in it, which I like. Let's see if I can find one.
Wow. 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 Wow.
I also think mindfulness would solve so many problems And it's something that I really try to incorporate into my life. So, if you are on a similar journey with your mindfulness, then you might want to try this book. Pick it up, annotate it, and see how it makes you feel as we move into spring. That concludes my list of spring book recommendations. I hope that one or some of these books sparked your inspiration. That I feel like is the word of the spring for me, inspiration. I want to read books that make me feel excited and inspired and motivated and enthusiastic about life. Hopefully, this selection is a good starting point. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, if you plan to read any of them, and most importantly, if you have any books that you think are perfect to read in the spring and why. I'd be really curious to hear what sort of books you like to pick up at this time. If you're wanting to start the spring with some very good audiobooks, I have a video that shares the 5 best audiobooks in my opinion. So I will link that in the description for you. But besides that, I will let you go and enjoy your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. I hope the sun is starting to shine and the flowers are starting to bloom, and that you're looking forward to a beautiful springtime. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!